to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Welcome to Just Minding My Business. We are so pleased to have you with us. We hope you have had a wonderful day, full of joy, unexpected joy, and pleasures. Tonight, we have Lisa A. Smith, a serial entrepreneur, health and wellness subject matter expert, nutritionist, and professional speaker coming to the mic. She holds a bachelor's degree in psychology and a master's in business administration. She is certified in plant-based nutrition and the executive director of the Plant Based Nutrition Support Group. In addition to being the author and creator of the guidebook series and brand, the Plant Based Foodie, she is also the founder of Professionally Fit and the Black Health Academy, as well as creator and facilitator of the signature plant-based course, Farm to Table. That's P.H.A.R.M. to Table. Welcome, Lisa Smith. We're so pleased to have you with us. By the way, my name is Ruth. I am the co-host, and we have with us our host,
Ida Crawford.
Okay, take it away, Ida.
Thank you so much for saying yes, Lisa. We definitely want to hear what you have to say. And being a person that has gone holistic myself on a lot of different levels for different health reasons, I am so thrilled that you are here to bring this content to our audience. So I always like to go with, how did you get started?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, ladies, for having me. My journey to health and wellness was a pretty traditional one in that, I wanted to lose weight. I just started off wanting to lose weight. And I used to be 65 pounds heavier than what I am now. And I started my health and wellness journey in January of 2012, just hired my first personal trainer. She was absolutely phenomenal. She actually still works with me today at my companies. And she helped me begin my journey to weight loss. But we never really covered nutrition. And so after working with Tiffany for about 10 months, I actually left Michigan and moved abroad to Rome, Italy. And I lived in Rome for about 3 months and then got back to the US, left again after about 7 months and moved to Foshan, China. So in a matter of about 2 years, I lived on 2 different continents. And during this time, one of the things that became glaringly apparent to me was the difference in the way they ate in those cultures, right? Meat was more of a flavorant. Food was more community style or familial, and food was fresh. They were going to the market every other day. Their refrigerators were tiny. They weren't storing food. There wasn't a lot of processed food. And so I noticed a vast difference in the attention paid to the diet and the physical movement. Like, especially in China, the seniors are out at 5 a.m. doing Tai Chi, spending time with the grandkids. So it was just a more active culture. So when I got back to the US, I decided to completely switch careers from social work and decided to go into health and wellness. So I became a certified personal trainer. And when I became a trainer, I started noticing that my clients weren't getting the results they really wanted to get because we were only focusing on the physical fitness and not putting emphasis on the nutrition. So I began to self-study and fell in love with nutrition. So that's when I went and got certified in plant-based nutrition, and it just took off from there. So now, full time, both my companies are whole food plant-based companies. I teach plant-based nutrition, how to use food as medicine, how to use food to reverse chronic disease, how to use food for mental and emotional stability. It's just a powerhouse that we have in our back pocket to really turn things around for us. And it's been a game changer for me. And so I spend my life doing it for other people.
Absolutely. That is an awesome story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes.
And right now I'm dealing with a situation with my husband who has COPD. And what I'm finding is the medication that the doctors are giving him are really not helping him. And right now with the COVID-19, I'd like you to shed some light on some of the things that people can do to build up their immune systems.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. I'm sorry to hear about your husband. Some of the tips I'll share tonight will be beneficial for him as well. It's going to be critical that he begins to get that excess fluid and mucus out of his body. So some of the things that I'll go through tonight, we'll touch on that. But with regard to COVID-19 and this virus that directly impacts specifically the lungs, respiratory, and has a lot to do with our immune system. I'm going to give you 3 things that we can do to make sure we're boosting our immune system and or not compromising it. And the first of those things will be sugar. So refined sugar is one of the most toxic things we can put in our bodies every single day. And when I say refined sugar, I'm talking specifically about white sugar, brown sugar, turbinado sugar, raw sugar, coconut sugar, date sugar, anything that's been refined and processed, granulated. So while you can eat the whole food, like you can eat a whole date, you can eat a whole coconut, you can eat whole fresh fruit, right? That's separate from the refined sugar. So once you isolate and concentrate a substance from a plant, you essentially create a narcotic, right? And so that's what refined sugar is. It is a narcotic. And so sugar specifically, though, it lowers your immune system for up to 4 hours after consuming it. And so while most of us, we're in these stay home orders, we're in quarantine, we have almost nothing to do but eat all day, right? With the refrigerator's a few feet away now. And then we're all about our quarantine snacks and we're stacking up on all our favorite things, right? Or some of us use food or use sugar to quell our anxiety or our stress, right? It's an emotional comfort. But you have to know that when we consume this refined sugar, it's lowering your immune system for up to 4 hours after you have it. Now, if you never even get a 4-hour break in between that sugar, your immune system is compromised 24/7, 365, because we're starting our day with the coffee with the sugar and a cream in it, or toast with jelly on it, or sugary cereal, or sugary flavored oatmeal. And then lunch, we're having a pop or some chips, or we want a cookie, or we want chocolate, right? And we got salad dressing that has sugar in it, seasonings with sugar in it. So we have to eliminate the refined sugar. It's critical for immunity right now, guys. The other thing with regard to immunity is stress. So anytime we're chronically stressed, now stress is not a bad thing. It's not a 4-letter word. We actually need stress, believe it or not, but we need it acutely, right? We don't need it chronically. So it shouldn't be where our cortisol levels are chronically elevated. There's 3 types of stress. There's physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress. But the one that we're usually referring to is the emotional stress. And when we are chronically stressed, our system, our body, as a defense mechanism, shuts down all our systems so that we can return to safety. So your digestive system, your endocrine system, your vascular system, your cardiorespiratory system, all of those things are put on the back burner because your body signals high levels of cortisol, which tells your body that we're in fight or flight mode. We're in danger. And so I'm not going to waste energy on digestion. I'm not going to waste energy on producing hormones in your endocrine system. I'm going to focus on getting you back to safety. Your body doesn't know that danger isn't a rare animal or a random shooter, because for you, the stress is financial or work or familial, right? And so your body thinks it's just an immediate danger where you're in chronic stress. And so your body can't tell the difference between the two. And now your immune system is lowered. Every other system in your body, the volume is turned down on those things. And so how are we dealing with stress? Right? Because this pandemic has impacted many of us in a variety of ways, right? Mm-hmm. Economically, familially, emotionally, all of those things make a huge difference. And so we have to find ways to navigate the stress. One thing that we want to be doing is, number one, we need to be moving. So from a scientific standpoint, a virus is going to enter your body on one of 3 surfaces. That's going to be your eyes, your nostrils, or your mouth. Those are what we call our mucosal surfaces, or our moist surfaces where we have mucus, right? And so the virus, 95% of the time, is going to land in one of those 3 places. Well, our body creates an antibody, white blood cell antibody, called IgA, immunoglobulin type A. This IgA, its sole purpose is to protect the eyes, the nostrils, and the mouth. It protects those areas from allowing that virus to get all the way into your body and wreak havoc. The one thing that significantly boosts IgA is exercise. So we need to be moving. We have to be exercising. If you're afraid to go out of the house and you don't want to take a walk around the block or anything like that, inside the house, guys, I need you moving. It is so important every single day, minimum of 20 minutes, get up and do something. One of my companies, the Black Health Academy, which is a completely free platform, we have a host of workouts in there. No workout is longer than 20 minutes. The blackhealthacademy.com, plug and play, put it on a big screen. I do it all the time. No equipment required except for a mat. Find a video on YouTube. Do what you have to do to get moving so you can boost up that IgA.
Okay.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow. IgA.
Yeah, I'm taking notes. I want you to know.
Yeah.
I hope our listeners have grabbed pen and paper. This is news and views you can definitely use.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I love what you said about getting up and moving. I never, and all of the things that we're hearing, no one's talking about that. No one's encouraging people. Get up and move.
Yes.
Movement is like a safety mechanism for you.
Yes.
And I'm amazed that you're the first person I've heard say anything about that.
Wow.
That's amazing. All these medical people out there, no one's telling people get up and move.
Yes. It's so important. And exercise is the most underused antidepressant. So that stress piece we talked about, right? It's going to help your body come back. It's going to tap into your parasympathetic nervous system and help your body be restored to a place of homeostasis, right? And so we can burn out some of that anxious energy and that angst, right? And so it's for your immune system, but you guys know it's a multitude of benefits from exercise.
Yes.
After COVID-19, we'll all be cute.
Yes. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Right.
That's a serious goal. Yeah. We're going to be better than we were when we came indoors.
Oh, yeah. Wow. COVID-19 did her well.
What gym you go to? COVID-19?
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, you are just a treasure. A treasure. You are. I'm so glad that we met you and that we linked up again on Just Minding My Business.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. What a wealth of information. Let me stop prattling. You go ahead, Ida. I see you.
I got this question about raw honey.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. So natural sweeteners that we can still consume. I will list raw honey in that. Yes. So you want the honey to be raw, preferably organic, but most importantly, preferably locally sourced, right? So whatever city or state you in, if you can get, like here in Michigan, I get Michigan honey. And just the reason for that is you want your food to travel as short a distance as possible, right? Which really lowers the chances of contamination. And honey is typically one of those things that you can find regionally. But yes, raw honey. So that's not the teddy bear, y'all. That's the good stuff.
You need a spoon for raw honey.
That's right.
Yes.
Right. And also included in those natural sweeteners are also going to be 100% pure maple syrup. So if you're doing baked goods, if you have a sweet tooth, because we've already, gotten rid of the refined sugar, but we don't necessarily want to get rid of the sweet tooth. We just want to satisfy it differently.
Yes.
And so that maple syrup is good for cooking because you don't want to heat honey at a high temperature. It becomes toxic. So if you want to bake some muffins or something like that, I recommend using maple syrup or really, really ripe fruit. Like for my banana bread, I just really use almost brown bananas and the sweetness is off the charts.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for asking that.
Yes.
And what about agave nectar?
Yeah, so as long as it's raw, the issue with agave or agave is that they use it in Mexico to ferment tequila, but when we get it over to America, we usually heat it and process it, which completely destroys the nutritional quality, right? And so make sure you buy it raw, make sure it's the only ingredient, so you don't want to extract or anything like that.
Right.
And then it's good. Now, with these natural sweeteners, though, keep in mind that they're still sugars. And so even though they're not refined, they still need to be consumed in moderation.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I really had that question because that's what I normally give my husband.
Okay.
The raw honey.
Okay. And what I mentioned earlier about getting that fluid out of his body, a lot of us have pre-existing conditions which result in excess fluid or stem from excess mucus. So another thing with regard to immunity and overall health really is eliminating all dairy, 100% all dairy out of your diet. This is non-negotiable, guys. Now, I'm a plant-based vegan, so I believe in 100% no animal products in your diet. But if you were going to start somewhere, definitely dairy. Dairy is cow's milk and any derivative of a cow's teat, right? So that's your yogurt, your ice cream, your butter, your cheese, your coffee creamer. All of that is dairy. It creates excess mucus and it becomes extremely problematic. We do not have the enzyme, which is called lactase, to digest dairy. When you are done weaning off your mom's breast, you no longer require milk. So there's no room in the human diet for a cow's breast milk.
Now, what about coconut milk or soy milk?
Absolutely. So non-dairy alternatives are okay. So that's going to be your coconut milk, your almond milk, your hemp milk, your rice milk. The caveat to those things, though, even if it's a dairy-free yogurt is the sugar. Okay. So a lot of times you guys have seen unsweetened coconut, unsweetened almond, which means there's a sweetened version. And so make sure you're always getting the unsweetened version because they add that refined sugar in.
Right. I try to find that. Yeah, that's what we do. We do the coconut milk or the soy milk or sometimes the almond. Yeah. And what I do to get the fruits and vegetables in, I make the smoothies with the fresh vegetables and the fresh berries and the bananas. I kind of like when they get brown, I just throw them in the freezer and then I use them for my smoothies. And they're loving it, as opposed to my crew. They're not going to go to the refrigerator. Oh, I want some blueberries. They ain't going to do that. They will go bad.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I get it in them. Kiwi and all of that. Now, my son will eat certain things raw like that. But for the most part, my husband, he's like, no. He's from the South.
Yeah.
North Carolina. So they not really he wasn't into fruit like that growing up. So
that's a great way to introduce more plant-based foods into someone's diet. Absolutely, is by juicing or blending. I think it's a great idea. My kind of formula for smoothies though is 75% plants, and that plant can be your spinach, your kale, your chard, your dandelion greens. Get a great variety. So 75% plants. 1 to 2 fruits. That's it, right? So we only need the fruit to wash the medicine down, okay? So we don't want to have blueberries, strawberries, mango, banana, pineapple, all in one smoothie, guys. We need the plants in, right? And then you do a non-dairy unsweetened milk. Okay. And then, some seeds are nice, right? So maybe some flax, some hemp, some chia, and then a quarter or a half of lemon, like real lemon. You just peel the rind off because that vitamin C is going to help your body absorb all the nutrients in the plants better. Okay. So vitamin C helps to aid in absorption. So put that lemon in there. It's extremely alkaline to the body and it's really beneficial, but no more than 2 fruits in those smoothies.
Okay. I have a question along the line of things that we can use as additives. Moringa, ashwagandha, and what's the other one? I have tons of it.
Yeah.
What's that?
Spirulina, sea moss.
Spirulina, yes. And there's another one. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I have a huge bottle of it. Anyway, just go with those.
Okay. Yeah, okay. No, those are all phenomenal. Your moringa, maybe you're talking about chlorella, or spirulina, ashwagandha. So these are herbs, right? These are plants that either grow on the earth or on the ocean floor, right? Like different varieties of seaweed, like we were talking about earlier. So those are extremely beneficial. We don't want to get that confused with vitamins and supplements, though. Okay. So here's what I mean. If you go to a health food store and you buy some sea moss or you buy some, moringa powder, that's fine. One ingredient, and that's the plant or the seaweed. But sometimes we get impressed by these green powder blends or, these vegan protein powders or these multivitamins, right? I'm not a proponent of vitamins and supplements for a couple reasons. One, they are not regulated. Two, they are full of extracts and isolates, and often fillers like sugar, colorants, gums, flavorants, and even dairy sometimes, like your whey and casein powders. So multivitamins and powders, because they're extracts, it disrupts the bioavailability to your body. So you getting that vitamin or mineral out of a powder or a multivitamin is very different from actually chewing a whole plant.
Absolutely.
When you chew the whole plant, it's molecularly intact. When man comes into the equation and disrupts the molecular structure of a plant, it disrupts the bioavailability to your body. So it's very important that you don't think, okay, I don't eat well, so I can lean on these vitamins and supplements to get my nutrients. It doesn't work that way. It's not a shortcut like that. And when we spend, expensive or high amounts of money on those things, we usually just have expensive urine because our body isn't
using anything. It's just going right through us.
You got it.
Going right through us. Okay, there's another product, and I can't remember the long technical name, but it's called DE.
Diatomaceous earth.
Oh, diatomaceous earth.
Yeah.
Yes.
We use
Talk about that as well. Do you use that also, Ida?
Yes.
Okay.
Great. Yeah, diatomaceous earth is usually used to kill pathogens, right? And, excess foreign invaders. That you can actually use them around your house as much as you do, in your body. You can get the food grade version of DE, diatomaceous earth, and consume it. I'm okay with that. Again, it's an extract from I think it's a rock or a stone, like fossil.
Yes.
It has silica.
Silica, high in silica. Yeah.
That's not in a lot of the foods.
Correct. Right. Yeah. So it's a derivative from the earth, which again, it's fine. It's not a man-made blend of vitamins and minerals. So yes, DE is good.
Okay.
Yes.
Have one more question along that line. I've got lots of questions for you because this is a fabulous topic, because I noticed that, with COVID-19, everybody was panicking. And I, as a rule, do not eat sugar, flour, or wheat. Okay, that's not in my diet. So as I was watching people panicking, I was looking at what they were putting in their carts. It was amazing.
Yes.
Boxes of garbage. I mean, things that had absolutely no ability to give their body what they needed.
Mm-hmm.
So along this line, I've noticed I've taken in a great deal of interest in not only learning more about what you're talking about, but there's also the reality of foraging for different things. And I live in a community where there are a lot of Asians, Chinese, and Korean. And I walk past, we have a lot of wooded area. I don't see anything. But they're there with their little, shopping bags from Giant or whatever, and they're clipping and cutting. And I know it's food. Years ago, I ran into a situation where, again, I was in an area, I was living in Baltimore near Herring Run Park. Same thing. I saw Asian people clipping and cutting and clipping and cutting. Mm-hmm. And I asked them, I said, what are you doing? And they said, well, yeah, obviously we're clipping and cutting, pretty much. I said, but why? And they told me, they said it's food.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what experience you have with that, or that you can share to help people realize. You've been saying it a lot, that the food that we eat has to be bioavailable.
Yeah.
In other words, it's a food that God made for us to eat. This is
Yeah.
what we were created to eat.
Yeah.
What can we do to really start looking around us and see what's already growing out there? Mm-hmm. Some people have that ability. They live in wooded areas or areas that there are heavy woods in.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that you can share?
Yeah, well, it's really beneficial and it's customary for thousands of years in our history to eat from the land, right? And so you're right. If you live in an ecosystem and where there's a lot of greenery around and you have the opportunity to go out and get some of these plants, I think it's beneficial. There does come some education, because you can grow like edible flowers and things like that. I personally usually get them from my local farmers market, so I buy edible flowers and things like that. I've never foraged personally, but I agree with you in that, number one, people's grocery carts are deplorable. Like we have to do better with all of the processed food. I too cringe and I cry a little bit on the inside to think about, you're wearing a mask and you're sanitizing your hands, but you're not protecting yourself from the inside out. So it's almost like, what's the point? But, we have traditionally ate off the land, and our only job, so our bodies are so sophisticated in that our bodies have all of the software needed to repair us if we get sick, and to keep us healthy, right? And then our jobs is to give it the hard way, is to give it the raw materials, the 102 vitamins and minerals we need every single day to thrive. That's our only job. And most of us are not nailing it. We're pouring soda and sugar and, processed food and fast food. We're in the drive-throughs, we're eating out of, styrofoam containers. So we're not assisting our body and keeping us whole and healthy, right? And we're actually doing the opposite in that we're creating a problem with our fork every day, right? We're micro-dosing toxins and just, succumbing to a slow suicide, really, with the way we eat. And so when we are in these grocery stores, I understand, trying to buy food that, has a shelf life and is non-perishable, but truly, I would love to see the produce section sold out, guys. I would love to see, I would love to go into the grocery store and I not be able to get my kale one time. I just want to see us eating the raw materials, eating the plants, eating from the land, because Mother Nature didn't make any mistakes. Honestly, the only reason prescription drugs exist is because you can't put a patent on a plant. And so man has to find a way to manipulate the plant, right? By adding synthetic chemicals. Because if you could have put a patent on kale or spinach or Swiss chard, it'd be a game changer, but you can't, right? And so usually vitamins and supplements and all these things are derived from plants anyway, right? So we just need to go straight to the source. So we have to stop setting ourselves up for failure or securing our fate by being on prescribed drugs for years just by the food we eat.
Yes.
That's so true. Ida and I were just having a discussion about that, about pharmaceuticals and being on them for years at a time. And then kind of like waking up and saying, now, wait a minute, I've been on this for how many years?
Right.
And it's not doing anything. I still have high blood pressure. What's the purpose? And then you find that other things are going wrong with your body. Like I noticed it in my hair. I noticed it with my kidneys. It's like, we really do need to return to the land, which brings up, Ida, you have something you want to say. So I'll hold mine. You go.
I'm so excited. Because what about the diffusers? Because I do the peppermint oil and the, what's the other one? I can't call it. But that's what I do for my husband.
Eucalyptus?
Huh?
Eucalyptus?
Yes. Eucalyptus in the diffusers, which helps to keep that mucus off of his lungs. And I see it work very, very well. So
yeah, absolutely. So essential oils are really powerful for that reason. And also the frequency of the oils help to raise the frequency of our body. I think it's rose oil, if I'm not mistaken. It's one of the floral oils that has one of the highest frequencies. And so because, we are nothing but energy, we're nothing but a ball of energy. And so making sure those electrons and those protons and all that pair well. So the frequency of the things we put in our body, our foods, essential oils, all of those things, stones, that really makes a huge difference in our healing process. And with the elimination of that oil too, of the mucus, make sure that your husband will benefit the most from a whole food plant-based diet, because not only does dairy create excess mucus, all animal products do. So all the meat, including fish, all of it creates a host of mucus in our bodies. And so you can do the things that help clear it up, like the oil, but you also have to do the things that creates it, right? So you got to work the inside in the same time you're working outside in, right? Makes sense? So inside out and outside in. So make sure, I would highly suggest you start working any animal products, if there are any, out of his diet, in addition to any refined sugar. And that will be extremely beneficial. When you remove animal products from your diet too, the detox phase, you sometimes feel like you have a cold when you're going to have cold symptoms when you don't. That's because there's more mucus trying to exit out. So it might potentially get worse before it gets better when you eliminate those toxins.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm excited. Well, before we go any further, because we got a lot to talk about, how can people get in touch with you?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find my website is lisaangelsmith.com, my full name, lisaangelsmith.com. On my website is where you can access my podcast, the Black Health Academy podcast. It's also where you can access the Black Health Academy for free, or you can go to the blackhealthacademy.com and enroll 100% for free. Also, my signature course that I teach called Farm to Table, as Ruth mentioned earlier, P.H.A.R.M. That can be found at farmtotablecourse.com or lisaangelsmith.com. That's a 6-week intensive where I walk you through the process of enrolling or adopting a whole food plant-based diet. Really critical for us right now. And of course, I'm teaching online live just like this. I come on, I yell, I lecture for 2.5 hours. We have a good time. And so lisaangelsmith.com, or you can reach me at 313-335-1400, 313-335-1400. And I'm at Lisa Angel Smith on Instagram and Facebook.
Wow. Okay.
I am just enjoying every moment of this and ready to definitely make some other changes. I've made quite a few changes in our diet that I'm really proud of, because now we eat raw spinach almost all the time.
Yay!
All the time. So, and I'm getting it in and fresh vegetables, and I like to cook. So fast food never has interested me.
Mm-hmm.
Never have interested me. I'm like, no. And I cook, and everything, like, the raw garlic, and I chop everything up. All, ingredients are all raw stuff.
Yes.
So now just need to get rid of the meat, and then we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're saying that, Ida, because like I said, normally I don't eat. There's certain things that I don't eat because I'm allergic to them. And I know that. In this COVID-19, I've done a little slipping and sliding, but having this conversation is helping me to come back to center very quickly, because it's not about my emotions. Yes, I have to recognize the emotional part of this, because I was just saying to someone yesterday, I was feeling really down because I live by myself. Mm-hmm. So, and I live in a building that they have locked down because it's mostly senior citizens. So we're not even allowed to really go out of our unit unless we're going to the grocery store or something like that. So I've been away from human beings for over a month. So that lack of contact, physical contact, someone to hug you, someone to, touch their hand, that's gone. And I was saying to someone, I feel like a leper, I'm untouchable. I'm totally untouchable. And so I realized that my food has been taking over.
Yeah.
My addiction to certain things has been taking over.
Yeah.
And now I can see why I bought some of the things that I bought, because they were quote unquote comfort foods. Yeah. And the comfort foods are all the ones that harm us.
Yes.
It's just really interesting. The sweet things. I haven't gotten into the flour or anything like that. So I don't eat baked goods or bread or anything. But I can see how, I do have yogurt. And I had stopped using yogurt. I had stopped using cheeses of any kind because they just didn't make me feel good. But I would eat dates, and I noticed the difference. Mm-hmm. I noticed the difference when I use honey. Mm-hmm. I can use honey, but I can only use a little bit of it, and it doesn't affect me. So what I'm saying is that in what you have to teach and what you're offering to people, mm-hmm. It's going to be a huge mental and emotional shift for them. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily easy, but it is such a better way of life.
Yeah.
Because we were never made to eat pizza 10 times a day, 25 times a week. We're just not made like that. Our bodies can't handle it anymore. So maybe in a way, I've often said, maybe COVID-19 in a way is a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
because it's going to force us to go back to what we know. Our bodies are already telling us we don't want this anymore.
Yeah,
we've already been there, because we can see by the medical situation, not just COVID-19, but just the obesity rate, diabetes, cancer. All of this is telling us that we're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So now we have an opportunity to listen to someone like you. Go to your website, make contact with you, and learn how to eat again in a way that our bodies will understand, because our bodies already know. They're just waiting for us to catch up.
Yes.
You know,
That's exactly right. And I want to say, conversations like this, we're having a good time. We're chatting. Keep in mind, like, the distancing is physical distancing, but not social distancing. We can still socialize, guys. We can still do this. Like, just doing this alone, we're laughing, we're smiling, we're sharing. How can you still socially engage and physically distance, right? A good friend of mine said that recently, and I was like, yeah, that's a slight change in wording.
Right.
Makes a huge difference in what it means potentially, because you're absolutely right in that we need the connection, right? And one of the things I teach in my classes, I know we got to wrap up, but I have to say this because this is impacting people's health too, is that, the biggest impact on how long you'll live and your life expectancy has nothing to do with your genes, your age, prior health conditions, your zip code, how much money you make. It has to do with your social connections. So how intimate are you with other humans, right? How intentional are you about your relationships? That's what we've seen in what we call the blue zones, the 7 areas around the world that have the longest living people. In studying those communities, we found that the social connections makes the biggest difference in longevity. So don't let this pandemic disrupt your connections to humans, and really for a lot of us, it's brought us closer. Right? But let's be intentional about that if it hasn't, especially if you live alone, or like Ida said, or Ruth said, I'm a senior, my building is more shut down, we're more restricted here, right? How can you use this technology to still connect with people? Even with my therapist, we're doing satellite sessions on Zoom, right? Don't miss those things that you have in place to keep you whole.
Thank you.
Yes. Right.
Thank you.
And just this alone, we have been so busy interviewing people and laughing and having fun. And after the interview's over, it's the second interview.
Interview after the interview.
Yes, and it's just been a blast. And we've learned so much stuff. Oh my God. I have to say COVID-19 has really been good to me.
Right.
That's why we all want to come out saying, yes, it's been good to us. It's turned out to be a blessing. Whatever anyone else planned, it's turned out to be a blessing.
Yes, it has. I mean, just being able to, like you say, socialize and be able to connect with people and learn from people. That's huge.
Huge.
That is really huge.
Yeah.
You know that probably more people have been doing things like this, being on YouTube, doing seminars, now that they've gotten over the Netflix thing. They got bored with that. And now people are searching for information and learning.
Yeah.
And many of us are going to come out much brighter than when we went into this. Much more well-informed, with lots more information that we can use. And this is like what you're doing is, and so many people that we've interviewed, it's information that people can really use. It's going to add to their lives.
Yeah.
In so many ways. And it's very exciting. To me, it's exciting.
It's exciting to me too. And afterwards, I sometimes before we get started, I'm like a little tired. It's been a long day. And then once we get going, oh my God, what a burst of energy.
Yeah. I will attest to that too.
God, this is great.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
Yes, this is absolutely great.
We have 1,000 questions for you. We have 1,000.
You're coming back. You already know, right?
Yes.
Anytime. I'd be happy to. I love it.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
You are so welcome to come back. Yes, we need you. We need your information. Thank you so much. We need you so much.
Thank you enough.
Yes, as soon as we're finished and Ida and I shut down, I'm gonna go stand in the middle of the floor and get my exercise on.
That's right.
I'm gonna be moving.
Yes, indeed. Before we wrap up, Miss Lisa, again, how do people connect?
Yes. Please connect with me at lisaangelsmith.com. Connect with me on social media at Lisa Angel Smith on Facebook and Instagram. Give me a ring, 313-335-1400. I'm going to hold you hostage on the phone because I ain't got nothing to do anyway. So let's answer all of your questions. Just talk about what resources I have. I have a recipe book, the Plant Based Foodie. That the orders have went up for that alone. So if you're trying to make the transition and you're like, I don't know what to cook, I know what not to eat, but I don't know what to eat, right?
That's right.
So that's what my recipe book is for. So the Plant Based Foodie is my recipe book. Farm to Table is my signature course. I do one-on-one or group coaching. I don't know when this is going to air, but my next Farm to Table class starts Monday, May 4th, virtually online. I have 2 seats left in that. And so I offer a plethora of ways for you to adopt a whole food plant-based diet. And one of the things I do in all of my coachings and my teachings is I incorporate the psychosocial aspect, things about neuroplasticity, how habit form happens, how behavior change happens. So if if emotional eating is an issue for you, if consistency is an issue for you, if behavior change is an issue for you, then I bring that science into it too. I don't just tell you stop eating dairy and wish you luck. I teach you the mechanisms required to truly make change in your life and in your health. And it's my passion, it's my life's work. It's the only thing I do full time, and I absolutely love it.
Wow, and we feeling it.
Yes, indeed. And we have benefited from it tonight.
Yes,
thank you so much. Thank you.
Love. Thank you so much, Lisa. We
Thank you.
Blessed and highly honored to have you on.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Word on the street says there's something new at Just Minding My Business Media. You've heard our podcast, Just Minding My Business Radio, that brings news and views you can use. That airs every Thursday at 6 p.m. on iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and Spreaker. Well, now you can watch Just Minding My Business. That's right, Just Minding My Business Media now has a TV presence on Raven International TV Network, broadcast on Roku, Fire, and Apple TV. Your business, through Just Minding My Business Media, has exposure on internet radio, major social media platforms, and now TV, through Just Minding My Business dynamic digital marketing platform. Don't listen to the word on the street. Hear it for yourself. Visit jmb.asistercircle.org to learn how you can take your business, your vision, to the next level. Thank you to the amazing women of A Sister Circle Empowerment Network, ASCEN LLC, and our media partners. Let Just Minding My Business Media promote your business. For information, visit us at jmb.asistercircle.org. That's jmb.asistercircle.org. Voiceovers by RCH VoiceWorks, for when you want to be heard. Call 443-620-4115.
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.